Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Abhay, and I'm from the marketing department of EDS Technologies. So I would like to welcome each and every one of you for joining this webinar. Today we have our webinar session on how you can advance your medical device design using simulation. I would like to begin this webinar by giving a short introduction about our company. EDS Technologies was incorporated in 1994 to focus on providing technology solutions to enable organizations to adopt the right technology for business innovation and growth. For this, we have partnerships with various technology leaders who are the best in their field. Today, we are one of the largest technology solutions providers in India within the segments and application areas that we cater to. We have served more than 2,000 customers across multiple segments such as transportation and mobility, aerospace and defense, natural resources, infrastructure, life sciences, etc. To ensure that we are closer to our customers and to understand their needs, we operate in a total of 9 locations across India. Among the many partnerships we have, the strategic partnership with Dassault Systems for creating and analyzing virtual twins in the manufacturing is one of the most prominent ones. We also have a partnership with EOS for additive manufacturing requirements, Human Solutions for ergonomic solution requirements, MAC for military simulation and training needs for aerospace and defense industry, and ESRI for GIS related requirements. With respect to electronic design automation, we closely work with Synopsys. We have a dedicated sales, support, marketing, and customer satisfaction teams to address customers' PLM business and support requirements. In today's webinar, we are joined by Dr. Varun Sharma, who is a senior application specialist at EDS Technologies. So before handing it over to Dr. Varun, a little introduction about him. So Dr. Varun has a master's degree in scientific instrumentation from Ernst Ab University of Applied Science, Germany, specializing in advanced materials. He has achieved doctorate in mechanical engineering, focusing on numerical modeling and engineering optimization as a Marie Curie early stage researcher. He is currently working in EDS Technologies as a senior application specialist, responsible for providing support to customers in the entire north and east region of India on Simulia suite of solutions. Over to you, Varun.
Thank you, Abhay. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you everyone for joining us today on Medical Life Sciences webinar. So we have tried to create agenda, covering the detailed aspects of life sciences and how we can, implement simulations. So in the beginning, I will be talking about simulation part, how you can use our technology related to life sciences. Then a little bit we can talk about how you can transform your business and values in life sciences using simulations. And finally, I will be talking about some of the case studies related to life sciences. So before we start, let me give you a little bit introduction about how you can implement simulation in life sciences. So based on our experience and based on our customer interactions we have across India, we divided them into 3 sectors. So first one is predominantly patient care. Second one is pharma and biotech, and third one is medical devices. So I'm sure those who have joined today maybe fall under any of the categories, but today specifically we will be talking about only on medical devices. So before we start, let me tell you like how you can change your conventional method into numerical methods specifically for life science industries. So let's say you are some specific engineer or medical specialist or technological specialist working for some medical companies, and you are repeatedly following the basic traditional technique. So if you go on my right hand side, you can see that's the traditional method where you first perform some of the benchmark test, which eventually take 2 years, and then afterwards you need to perform some animal test, which eventually some painful procedure, and then you need to perform some clinical trial, which again includes some time span, and finally you can move to the model based technique, and then you need to go to the precision medicines. So this basically, traditional method requires some of the steps, which is clinical involvement and some of the painful test includes. So you can convert this traditional method into modern method using our simulation technique, which includes only few of the steps like model based technique and the precision technique. So I will show you in the subsequent slide how you can apply this fundamental innovative technology on your life sciences product, specifically in medical implements. And these are some of the case studies that we have done for our customers. For example, creating a hurt model. If you are from injection industry, how to apply, how much force shall we apply in order to get the liquid out of the injection. So these are kind of some of the examples that can be done in a very fruitful way. So the technology we have is called 3D experience, where you can perform different analysis. This technology is purely based on cloud as well as on premise. So you have the options, both the options available. Anyway, if you choose any of the technology, these are some of the fundamental aspects which will be coming as a complementary. So you can scale your model, you can perform as a single source, you can do collaborations, you can do a lot of design explorations, and obviously it is an innovative technology, and at the same times we have a very good support systems. So these are some of the complementary things that will be integrated. Let's start about so if you use these technologies, you can apply on your medical implants or any of the specific area that you are working on. So let's start first with some of the solutions we have for our medical customers. So maybe any of the criteria fits with your requirement. So I will start first with the first one. So let's say if you are from like validation department or from analytics department, so if there a lot of data you have and you need to make some sort of correlations. You have test data, experimental data, so that comes under validation and verifications. This part can be done as a first preliminary steps. Then you can extract some of the points and you can perform some factor design study. Then we have some device system engineering, where you can perform system modeling and simulations for rapid design iterations without involvement of physical prototype. Then we have mechanical engineering device, where you can design latest equipments considering the mechanical reliability and safety as the utmost criteria. Then we have electronics engineering. For example, you can you can identify electromagnetic behavior. At the same time, you can work on how to reduce the cost. And also we have virtual human clinic. And basically create 3D model. It is basically about CT scan and MRI scan. So you can scan the body and generate images, and these images further you can use for creating the 3D model. So these are some of the you can say like solutions or divisions we have under 3D experience specifically for life sciences. So you can adopt any of the technologies and you can start working. So now let me focus more on some of the solutions we have. So this is a very long history we have for Simulia, for specifically for simulation. So it is very difficult to have all this simulation tool under one umbrella, but if you have 3D experience, we can give you all this algorithm under one umbrella. So let's say you are good in Abacus and you are good in CST, you are good in Explo, and you are good in metadata. So it is very difficult to have all these tools because of cost and maybe other factor as well. But if you have 3D experience, we can create some portfolio, and we can align some of the algorithm, and it can fit with your requirement. So that's how it works basically: integration, collaborations, and seamless working with the different tools. So that's the beneficial point of 3D experience technology. Okay, now let's start focus more on life sciences, specifically on medical implants. So we have divided them into four categories. First one is multiphysics, where you can work on structural, fluid, electromagnetics, multi-body, and system modeling. Second category is durability and fatigue life sciences, where you can identify the life cycle of your component. Third one is optimizations and automations. How you start with your model, then 3D model, and then design of experiments, then approximation, optimizations, and then how you perform prototypes and all those things. And fourth one is basically virtual human modeling, which eventually includes MRI and CT scans, or some of the digital image capturing techniques can also be integrated with 3D experience. So these four categories, that can be fit uh, certainly with the requirement of medical implants, that comes under life sciences. So you can do all those things in 3D experience platform, and it is a completely simulation plus data management tool, and at the same time you can collaborate and you can visualize the results. So instead of purchasing 4 or 5 different tool, you can have one tool that's called 3D experience, and under 3D experience you can perform these four branches, and under every branch there are certain analysis that you can do. Okay, now let me focus more on the case studies that we have done for our customer in across pan India. So first one is orthopedic implants. So you can see, medical implants have been done here. Uh, at the same time, it is also possible to work on dental implants. So this case studies we have done for PGI Chandigarh. So now they are working on cavities, improvement. The third one is hearing aids, how to improve the hearing aids. So that is also possible with 3D experience. Fourth one is MRI, analysis, that is predominantly common nowadays. So you can scan your body and take the images, and we can create 3D model. And this model further you can use for further investigation. Also head impact analysis. What is happening during the accident, what type of impact coming on your head when you are wearing the helmet under static and dynamic conditions. So you can see how extensively, deeply you can go, and you can identify the injury occurred during your accident. So those kind of analysis can also be captured using the 3D experience technology. And finally, also recently we have done some of the studies for Reebok and Adidas about the clothing design. Uh, that is also possible. So now I wanted to focus more on some of the case studies we have done for some of the customers, specifically related to life sciences, medical implants, stents. Uh, so when you work on stent analysis, we have created some of the requirement considering the interactions we had with different customers. So you can see simulation requirement predominantly includes like material behaviors, the loading conditions, what kind of loadings they have, and fatigue life estimations, how to do the optimizations, and blood flow modelings, and the pressure driven diffusion. So these are some of the requirements, and obviously there are certain matrices that also needs to be considered. So like ease of deployment, no stent migrations, maximum variabilities, favorable hemodynamics, effective drug diffusion, and minimal tissue damage. So these are some of the matrices and requirement we have, always consider while creating the stent model within 3D Experience platform. And obviously, at the on the right hand side, you can see we have taken this image from Drug, Food, and Drug Administration's department from USA, from FDA, like how the drug-eluting stents can work, and how what are the treatments we have, and how you can prevent from restenosis. So considering this one of the basics requirements and how you can stay permanently, so we try to create some of the stent model. So before you jump on this model, I wanted to show you this analysis that we have done. So on the left hand side, you can see it's a physical test of nitinol temperature dependent behavior of drug-eluting stent, and on the right hand side you can see the virtual test that we have done. So you can see the behavior exactly comes similar, and the results we are getting is almost around 92 to 93%. So that's the accuracy we are getting, and proudly to say that we have a very good innovative tool in the market that cannot compete in terms of reliability and accuracy. uh, on the left hand side you can see the first point is basically about the realistic behavior. So we create nitinol behavior. In the beginning we try to understand their behavior first, how it works in different loading conditions, and under cooling how they work, under heating how they work. So before you jump you can first understand their material behavior. Obviously you can go till the depth like austenite structures, martensite structures, and how it is behaving. So that basically give you the confidence level before you implementing in the simulation. So that's the key criteria we always work before start the simulations. So similarly for nitinol we try to create the stress strain curves under different stages, and how they are loading, unloading, how they are affecting with respect to temperature, with respect to cooling conditions. uh, Second example that we can give you, so before we jump into the model, I wanted to give you some of the stent related modeling options that we have. So what you can do, uh, if you see this particularly multi-layer artery we have, which basically include different fiber orientations, if you see here, and every orientations basically sort of like a composite reinforcement which are arranged in helical structures, and these helically arranged fibers reinforced medial layers are very complicated in natures, which basically include elastic lamina or elastic fibrils or collagen fibrils. So you can see here like smooth muscle cells, internal elastic lamina, or endothelial cell. So it's a very complex layer of this reinforcement. So there is no straightforward procedure. So what we did here in the computer model, we simply create like sort of composite structure, and in this composite structure we have created a composite reinforcement, and every reinforcement have their different properties. And once you do that you can include the like you can incorporate stunt for the crimping and expansion analysis. So that's the kind of strategy you can apply in the stunt modeling, just for realistic simulation. Otherwise you can simply create one balloon, and inside the balloon you can involve stent, and you can simply apply crimping and expansion. So here you can have a better idea. So the first one you can see here, crimping. So under radial reductions. Second is basically expansion in the artery under different conditions. So one of the condition is basically pulsatile pressure, and the third one is insertion along guide wire plus balloon uh, in the patient derived artery. So it will expand like that. So this is one of the complex analysis which involve highly, accuracy and scientific understanding. So, but in 3D experience platform, there are certain, steps that you can follow, and you will be able to complete this uh, dynamic plus material behavior understanding. Now let me move to the another one examples. So this is a hurt analysis. I think it can give you more realistic pictures. So you can see we have a stent here, and which is subject to cardiac cyclic motion. So under every beating cycle, you can see the movement of stent, how it is, beating with respect to your heartbeat rate. So this is a very specialized case. Uh, we have done with a team of specialists. We created this heart model, and we have implemented the stent, nitinol stent, and we try to see uh, the movement of stent under every beating heartbeat cycle. At the same time, you can also work on the peripheral stent subjected to arterial deformations, which is a very common nowadays because of continuous sitting, job. So obviously, it involves number of factors like tension, bending, torsional, compression. So these kind of different stages of loading conditions can also be simulated in 3D experience platform. Now, let me show you the fatigue life cycle. The third one is predominantly about how to work on life estimations. Obviously, everybody wants to work on, life prediction, which is a very critical area. So we have a tool called fatigue life estimations, where you can capture high cycle fatigue as well as low cycle fatigue. So this is an example of coronary stent fatigue life under in vivo loading under different workload stages, distal, middle, proximal, envelope data. And you can see there are a number of factors and points with respect to stress has been created, and this is the fatigue line, sort of critical distance line, which can give you the estimations, product life cycle estimations. Fourth requirement is about optimizations. Uh, since a lot of research is going on related to the parametric optimizations, so we have MDO role, which predominantly works on parametric optimizations as well as topology optimizations. So you can play with the parameters, and you can reduce the size of the stent. Obviously, you can play with the shape. You can play with their behavior as well, and you can optimize it. So for example, if you see this example, there are a lot of scope for the improvement. So if you see these spot areas, uh, they were basically like parametry optimized, and in this case they have done a little bit of shape optimization. Obviously it looks same, but if you see the red spot area is quite huge, and here they try to diminish it. uh, they basically wanted to do the localization of stresses, so it eventually increases the stent life. That's how parametric and topology optimization works. So you can play with the parameters and you can reduce the size. That's the ultimate goal. Another way of technique is blood flow modeling, which includes understanding the concentration of blood factors. So this is basically the arrows. Blood. These are basically blood flow velocity vectors inside the artery walls, and these are telling you how your blood cells are basically moving inside the fibroids, and how they are basically creating the clots, so which can eventually cause problem on a later stages in endothelmial cells. So these are kind of minimal points, but from investigation point of view, it is very difficult to accomplish. But in 3D experience, it can tell you how the blood is basically, clots are getting reformed within the epidermal cell. Last, we can focus on pressure-driven diffusion. This is again another very important point, which includes like the concentration of drug inside the artery wall on a different span of time, which eventually related to the sensitivity of the stent, and also it includes related to the contact pressure. Uh, I mean, this can be done in a material behavior also, but nowadays because of expansion problems and drug elution problems, uh, most of the researchers are trying to understand the amount of drug we are giving over a period of time. So how they are basically affecting in the walls, and if there is some sort of coating is required or not. So that's how basically the concentration factors you can see here. And this picture is about the pressures, diffusion vectors across different arterial walls under different pressure. So before we conclude, I wanted to show you some of the customers that we are supporting across pan India. They are currently using our technology on daily basis, and we are supporting them. And before we conclude, I wanted to tell you, like, this is a one of the best technique we have, where you can create, you can combine different products at a fastest growing market, in this fastest growing market, and we can help you to create multi-physics, multi-scale simulations, and virtual human modeling, which is very critical to design. And at the same time, you can create your effective products. So Dissolve system is like the products that we are handling is from the Dissolve Systems, our principal company, and they are committed along with us to make you success in this highly challenging market. So this is the like nutshell you can say. So you can start with your digital connectivity. We can help you for data driven, and then you can create virtual models, then model based techniques, and finally you can have the final product you can implement on the human body. That's how it works. So again, this is a crimping and expansion examples that we are dealing on daily basis.
So
Okay.
I would like to thank you, Varun, for delivering a very insightful webinar here. I'm very sure that all our audience members have also benefited from your insights on the topic of how you can advance the medical device design with our simulation solutions. So I would like to thank all the webinar audience as well for taking their time out and joining today.
Yeah.
If you do want to contact us, our coordinates are displayed on the screen right now. You can contact Dr. Varun or you can contact me as well. So we'll help you out with whatever requirement or with whatever problem you have. So once again, I would like to thank each and everyone for joining this webinar. Please stay tuned for more of such sessions from our end. Thank you for joining.